Today we are looking at a very interesting camera, at least to my eyes, by Fujifilm, and this is the brand new X-M5. And why is it special? Well, let's go and have a coffee together. Right, okay, before I talk about the X-M5, I just want to highlight the fact that why I'm taking you for coffee. Because this is how I think the X-M5 is for. It's for photographer, bloggers, travel vloggers who like to use this as their kind of like everyday carry, their EDC camera, right? And to take it everywhere because of the form factor, as well as what this camera has in terms of features, because it has quite a bit, which kind of shocking to me. Eggnog latte. One of my favorite drinks from Starbucks, but of course this video is not about eggnog latte, it's about the X-M5. Why I think that this camera is so special that it potentially be the camera for any travel vloggers, bloggers, or just general travel photographer. As simple as that. You know, like I always say Micro Four Thirds is really great for travel because it's small form factor, you got a really lovely small primes and lenses, and it's capable, right? It's capable. You don't need, you know, big bulky DSLR, big mirrorless system like full frame or medium format. I mean, they are nice, you know, but you're not going for work, you're going to enjoy yourself. So you want something really kind of lightweight and small so it doesn't weight you down when you're traveling, walking miles and miles every day in the foreign locations, right? So small camera is always my go-to cameras. Hence, I always say the OM5 is great for that. But the X-M5, really, it's another level. For the price, which is cheaper than the OM5, it offers a lot of stuff that none of these cameras at this price range offer. As simple as that. So this can be a very unique proposition if you are thinking about a travel camera. So the X-M5 is really unique in many ways, simply because it offers great stills as well as video capabilities. I haven't seen any camera makers in the last few years offer so much for such a small form factor and at this sort of price range. At $799 US and UK pounds, it is a lot of features for the price. And I'm not really joking right here because I'm actually really impressed at how it came out. I've been using this for a few days now. I've been going around London taking snapshots, you know, just testing out the camera's capabilities and stills and videos. So I'm going to talk a little bit about them separately in just a moment. But overall, I think it offers a lot of stuff that modern, you know, photographers, beginners or not, would like to have. So before I get into the nitty-gritty of the X-M5, a little bit of a disclaimer. Fujifilm did send this to me for review, but they're not sponsoring the video. They haven't seen the video before I publish it. So, you know, there you go. I can say whatever I want after using it. Completely unbiased, as you know that I'm also not a Fujifilm fan or user. So this is going to be interesting. Eggnog is nice. Very nice. As nice as the X-M5. But let's look at the build quality first. What can I say about the build quality? Well, nothing much really. It's a typical Fujifilm camera that I'm accustomed to now. I mean, after testing a few in the past. It's solid build. There's no rattle or squeaks anywhere. Everything fits together perfectly. But just be mindful that this is a consumer camera, so you're not going to expect a weather seal, like bulletproof metal body. This is a plastic a consumer grade body, but it does feel nice. It has a little bit of weight to it as well, even though it's only 330 grams, just the body itself, with battery and memory card. So it is a very lightweight camera, but for the size, if you put it on your hand and palm, it does have a little bit of a weight to it, which is kind of nice. You know, you don't want it to be feeling like hollow when you're holding it and things like that. You know, a bit like the Nikon ZSC, you know, they're just kind of a bit too light for my taste because of the size. This, however, feels nice, feels premium, even though it isn't a premium camera. Right. The croissant is lovely, yummy. As yummy as the X-M5 when it comes to design, because Fujifilm has nailed it once again. In fact, if I say out loud, you know, Fujifilm has nailed all the camera designs for the past 10 years. The XT, the XS, the X100 series is kind of like selling like hotcakes at the moment. You still can't get hold of the X106, for instance. It shows people appreciate the design, appreciate the retro styling that I think is not just about the trend, but also about people want a little bit of a throwback, and also from a usability point of view, it's great to have physical dials and buttons for photographers to press and turn, right? I love that aspect of it. The X-M5 followed a similar sort of recipe, but because of the form factor, the small size, there are a few compromises. First of all, the shutter speed dial is no longer on the top. There is a mode dial here. The shutter speed is now controlled by the front or the back dial, depending on how you set it up. But you can control a lot of things with these dials, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. There is now a film simulation mode on the left, which is kind of cool because it's right there. It really encourages you to try it out. So Fujifilm has thought about it, because this is what a lot of the users are buying it for those nostalgia film simulation modes that Fujifilm is known for, right? If you shoot JPEG. So this is kind of cool. I did try a few things because it's right there, it's in your eye, so you would definitely try to turn it and see what happens. So well done for that. At the back, very simple, very minimalistic. There's only a joystick and a couple of buttons there. I love it for that as well, because you don't want to overcomplicate a camera for this type of product, you know, for this sort of cameras that end users, they don't want to be overcomplicated. They really just want to snap things, and that really is it. You know, this is not a professional camera, just be mindful of that. So having a simple background is quite nice, but the joystick is very, very useful, because I haven't seen a camera at this price point would give you a joystick. Most of them would just use a traditional D-pad, and which I think in 2024 is a little bit dated. It's not very intuitive to use, not very fast to use, but the X-M5 gives you that. Well done, well done. Overall, I think the design is great. You know, it's very modern, very 2024, yet very retro. I like it. Okay. Lovely. I love the eggnog latte so much. I can not have enough of it. I can have it every day, but it's very fattening. Try not to drink too much of it, otherwise my cholesterol level is going to shoot up sky high. Definitely not what I want for turning 50, right? But anyway, now we're reaching to the cream of today's videos now, this image quality from the X-M5. If you're a photographer, right, you will care about the image quality. And I'm happy to say that the image quality coming up from the X-M5 is great. It's simply stunning. It features a 26 megapixel X-Trans sensor coming up from the XS20, the X105, and the XT4, which is plenty good. Plenty good. You know, for the price, I don't think you can get better when it comes to the raw capabilities of these sensors can produce. It's simply great. You know, I've processed them through Lightroom, and I always say that, you know, the X-Trans files is very special. You know, you do need certain sort of processing techniques. It also depending on what sort of software you want to use to convert the raw images to JPEG as well. The Capture One, for instance, could process the X-Trans files very different to Lightroom, but I'm a Lightroom guy, so all the sample image you're going to see is coming out from the Adobe Lightroom. So if you don't like the look, it's more likely because I process it through Lightroom. But I like them, you know, I like how it looks. So there you go. So have a look and see what you think.
Drives me crazy.
So there you go, you see? The images are very, very nice, very crispy. And I always say that 26 megapixels is plenty enough for everybody, for everyday use. Unless you are kind of guy who like to pixel peep or crop a lot of stuff, you simply don't want to overload the system, right? You know, I think 26 is really a sweet spot. Most of my cameras at home are 20 and 24 megapixels. I don't have anything higher. In fact, currently, this is my highest megapixel count camera. I don't have anything higher. I don't need them. I don't really need them, to be quite honest. So, lovely. I love the 26 megapixels. The size is great. It doesn't overload my system too much or slow down my workflow too much. It's just kind of, you know, playing the sweet spot, the fine line that I always draw for myself when it comes to image processing and the time that I have. Great job for that. So overall, I think image quality is great. 14-bit RAW coming from this is just fantastic with enough details and data for you to massage the file to your liking. But I need to reiterate again, depending on what type of software that you use at home, it does make a difference when it comes to the output eventually. If you're a Capture One guy, you probably think that the Capture One probably render the X-Tran files a little bit better than Lightroom. But like I said, I'm a Lightroom guy. I just stuck with Lightroom, full stop. But still, I think it looks pretty good, very decent. Another standout feature of the X-M5 is the video capabilities, which it is a video monster. And when I say monster, I'm not joking, yeah? Just a few highlights for you to think about. 6.2K open gate up to 30p. DCI 4K up to 60p. 10-bit 422. Amazing. Really is amazing, yeah? It does also have RAW output. Once again, 6.2K up to 30p RAW and 5.7K 4K, or not 4K, but 16:9 resolution for full sensor pixel readout. I can't say anymore. This is really phenomenal for a small camera like this. This is not even better than a lot of Lumix cameras. The only thing that I would say, which comes to the little bit of a negative coming out from you know, a heavy Micro Four Thirds users, is that it's lacking IBIS. Right. I haven't mentioned it earlier because as a photographer, I never really needed IBIS that much. Of course, I appreciate it. It's really useful. Of course, you know, we come to a slower shutter speed, but it's not the end of the world. But for video, IBIS to me is essential, especially the run and gun type for the hand-holding guys like me. IBIS is essential. So this guy doesn't have anything, but it does have electronic image stabilization, which can also be tethered to any of the Fujifilm lenses that has OIS. So it can kind of work in tandem, a bit like dual IS. But as a standalone, it only offers electronic stabilization, which means you're going to crop it in a little bit. So you're not going to get a full, you know, focal length. You're going to have to be mindful about how you frame your subject, because once you enable that, you are going to crop it in a little bit. So for that, there are two things there. It's not very good if you want to use wider angle, you know, you're going to be basically a little bit tighter than you want. And secondly, any sort of electronic stabilizers always has some sort of artifact, which I found out if you use that, especially in a wider angle, and also when you do the settings like the deepest depth of field, not shallow depth of field. Shallow depth of field is less prominent because you don't see the background as much. But if you have a deeper setting like f5.6, f8 for instance, you're going to see a lot of details in the background, and when you see that, you will actually kind of see starting to see a lot of the weird jerky movement in the background, and it looks like the shake is being compensated, yet it's being recorded. I don't know how to describe it, but you do see some really weird artifacts there, which you may not like. However, moving picture is slightly different to still, so it may not be as, you know, big a deal for many people, but for me, because I film a lot professionally, I do notice these little details, and I think to me, EIS is still not the perfect solution for this type of thing. But like I said, it's better than nothing. It's certainly okay for vlogging, you know, for something on YouTube, for instance. This is perfectly fine. But if you want to use this for professional purposes, which you can because of the video capabilities I just mentioned, it is better to use it on a gimbal, which I think this is a perfect B cam and also a gimbal cam For the size and the weight, you can use a smaller gimbal for all kinds of panning shots and stabilized shots. So you don't really need IBIS for video so long you understand you need some sort of stabilization system to do it, whether it's going to be on a gimbal or a tripod. But if you have that in mind, you plan your shoot with this camera, you can get great cinematic result from this camera right here. Another few things that is really kind of cool is that, first of all, it has a dedicated vlogging mode. It's kind of weird you think about it because it has a movie mode and a vlogging mode. Well, you can do everything the vlogging mode in the video modes, but the vlogging mode is actually very good if you are filming yourself, because when you flip out the screen, there are a lot of big icons that you can touch, and very easy, very intuitive. Things like start and stop recording, changing the AF mode, continuous mode, frame rate, all kinds of things can be adjusted with those big icons. It reminds me a little bit of Blackmagic interface, which is cool, really awesome, very quick, very intuitive, very direct. You don't have to go for sub-menus like a lot of the movie modes have to do. So this is fantastic. In 2024, it also has a product priority mode. So if you want to showcase your product, like, holding things in front of it, it does that too. Everything is good, everything is cool. But like I said, once again, because of the lack of IBIS, when you use the EIS, you're going to crop in a little bit. So be mindful when you vlog, and just have to be, just a little bit, careful about the distance between yourself and the lens. You need to be a little bit wider, or you need to stretch out your arm a little bit further to make sure you have that distance to cover whatever you want to cover. Just be mindful of that. And the second thing is, which I find very, very useful, not only for vlogging, but also for general filming, is that there is no ports on the left side of the body. Very clean, nothing. Reason is that when you flip out the screen, there is nothing to block the camera screen. Fantastic. All the ports are either on the right side or at the back where the microphone jack is. Why don't camera makers do that, everywhere? Like you see, most of the camera bodies now have all sorts of ports on the left side. The USB, the mic, the HDMI, everything's on the left. So when you flip out the screen, all the cable's going to block it. You can't even see or use the screen properly. I don't know why. So Fujifilm, well done for that. It's really, really good to have clean left side so you can properly see the screen when you flip it out. Fantastic. I really, really like it. So overall, I think Fujifilm has thought about the usability once again, even on a small camera like the X-M5. So this is the end of the video, and well, what do I think of the X-M5? Highly recommend it. Get it. As simple as that. I think the X-M5 presents a phenomenal value for money. It has great features, both stills and videos. I mean, I can't ask for more. Yes, there's no EVF, there's no IBIS, which can be a big deal for some. But for me, for still photography, IBIS is great for a lot of stuff that I do, but it's not totally essential. I can live without it, so long that I know how to utilize the camera, shutter speed, and things like that to do whatever I want to do. That's fine. I'm happy with that. Video, yes, it's a little bit more on oddball for me because it has great features I can utilize for a lot of cinematic purposes, but I think that I can use this for professional environments so long that I mount it on a gimbal or some sort of support, because I don't want to rely on the EIS to do the stabilization for me. For the odd vlogging here and there, it's fine, but if I'm a professional vlogger, I probably want to use something with a proper IBIS, or maybe using the Pocket 3, which is going to be phenomenal because it's properly stabilized. So for that, I think video-wise, it can be used as a proper professional B-cam, or maybe even a proper main camera if you put it on a gimbal or other supports. Great stuff. And I think X-M5 is kind of like a representation of what the entry-level camera should be, especially given the price, right? Okay, it is not the cheapest on the market for an entry-level camera, but certainly not the most expensive. For $800 and £800, I don't think you can get better than X-M5. So well done, Fujifilm. And thank you very much for lending me this camera for review, and I am truly impressed with it. In fact, it has changed my mind about Fujifilm cameras in general. I think that this has represented a new beginning for something that I'm looking forward to see what happens next. This is cool, and I'd like to see more stuff similar to this. So yeah, this made me think about a lot of stuff when it comes to Fujifilm in the future. And it certainly make me eager to see what you guys are going to do next. Well, that's it, folks. Thank you very much for watching, and you know what to do now. Give me some comments down below to see what you think about the X-M5, what you think about the digital market in general, whether, companies should make something, like the X-M5, more things like this, smaller compact cameras that is fully capable of doing a lot of stuff. I think they should. Let me know. Anyway, you know what to do now. Thumb if you like this video and sub if you want to stay in touch with all things photography and filmmaking, and of course, gear review. Until next time, I'll see you all very soon. Bye for now. Peace.